There's something different about you. You felt it your whole life. It's not just sensitivity, not just power, not even just intuition. It's the paradox, the duality, the terrifying truth that you are not just light, you are also shadow. And what nobody ever told you is that some of us were never meant to choose. Some of us were never meant to be pure. Some of us were born to radiate both angelic and demonic frequencies at once. And when you realize what that actually means, everything begins to change. I've stood in sacred temples surrounded by monks who radiated stillness like water. I've walked through underground chambers where sorcerers invoked ancient forces that would make most people tremble. And in both places, I've seen the same thing reflected back to me. Those who carry both flames are the ones who shape reality. Not because they are more special, but because they are more whole. If you've ever felt like you don't quite belong in the light, but you also don't resonate with the dark, it's because you were designed to hold both. But this dual frequency is not a trend. It's not an aesthetic. It's a burden and a blessing. And it manifests through signs subtle, sometimes painful, sometimes powerful signs that you are a vessel of divine contradiction. And the first sign is this: you activate people without trying. You walk into a room and people either open up to you like you're a confessional, or they recoil like you slapped them with truth. You don't even have to say anything. Your presence is a mirror and a magnet. Angelic energy in you draws out what's good in others. Demonic frequency in you drags out what's buried. You didn't ask for this, but it happens because your field is not passive, it's reactive. It demands authenticity, and people who aren't ready to face themselves, they feel exposed next to you. The second sign is that you're always walking between worlds emotionally, spiritually, socially. You understand the saints and the sinners. You can sit in a church and feel the sacred, and still sit in a shadow temple and not flinch. You don't fear darkness because you've made peace with your own. That's what makes you dangerous to illusions. You can't be manipulated by fear. People can't control you by threatening you with shadow because you've already met your own demons and made them kneel. And yet, you also carry light so intense that people feel safe in your presence. It's not fake positivity. It's clarity. It's the kind of light that doesn't blind, it reveals. You bring the light into the dark and the dark into the light. And that's what makes you unclassifiable. Here's where it gets deeper. The third sign is that you experience extreme polarity in your inner world. You could be in meditation, channeling divine peace, and then suddenly feel like there's a roaring in your belly, a primal fire that wants to devour illusion. That's not schizophrenia. That's frequency friction. And you're not broken. You're multidimensional. Your soul isn't at war, it's in orchestration. You're not here to silence either side. You're here to listen to both and choose with clarity. The angel in you protects sacred innocence. The demon in you guards sacred power. Together, they create discernment. And if you've ever swung between extremes, between silence and rage, between compassion and command, understand that this isn't instability. It's your training ground. The universe is refining you to carry polarized power without losing yourself. The fourth sign you radiate both frequencies is this: you attract chaos but also heal it. Your life isn't linear. It's dramatic. Things fall apart for you faster. You lose friends, lovers, jobs, identities sometimes overnight. Not because you're cursed, because your aura disrupts stagnation. The angel in you brings light codes that expose lies. The demon in you brings fire that burns lies down. That's why people who aren't ready for truth can't stay near you. And it's also why people who are starving for transformation find you and say, "I don't know why, but I feel like I can tell you everything." You've probably had strangers trauma dump on you. You've probably had people confess things they've never said out loud. That's not random. That's resonance. Your field is an energetic reset point. The chaos comes so you can restructure it. And this brings us to the fifth and most dangerous sign: you cannot be fully controlled by any system. Not religious, not spiritual, not political, not even metaphysical. You might have tried. You might have joined groups, followed teachers, submitted to ideologies. But something in you always breaks away. Not because you're a rebel, but because you can't stay caged. The angel in you seeks divine order. The demon in you shatters false structure. That's why you feel friction in most communities. You don't blindly obey, but you also don't reject wisdom. You distill truth from illusion. You can sit with a master and learn, but you won't become a follower. You'll integrate what's real and leave what's hollow. That's why no single path can hold you. You're not meant to be a student forever. You're meant to become a force. Let me ask you something that may shake your core. What if the reason you've never fully fit into the light or the dark is because you were born to bridge the two? What if your soul is a frequency converter here to stabilize the war between polarities by embodying both without collapsing into either? That's not a metaphor. It's a cosmic role, and only a few can hold it, because it's exhausting. It's lonely. It's misunderstood, but it's also divinely disruptive. And if you're still here, still watching, still breathing with me through this transmission, then maybe, just maybe, you're one of us. This awareness isn't just an identity. It's an invitation to stop fighting parts of yourself, to stop apologizing for being too intense, too loving, too honest, too raw. You are not here to be digestible. You are here to be undeniable, to walk into a room and shift the frequency without saying a word. To be the angel some people pray to and the demon others fear to meet. And here's the truth no one tells you. When you finally stop choosing sides and start choosing alignment, everything begins to respond differently. Your relationships, your body, your aura. You begin to stabilize. You begin to magnetize. You begin to remember. Because you're not just a human on a spiritual path. You are a living paradox. And you're just getting started. The twin flame within, how to balance angelic grace and demonic fire without losing your mind or mission. If you've made it here, if something inside you is still pulsing, still responding, then you already know this is not a performance. This is not a cute video about balance and vibes. This is about how to survive and thrive when your soul has been hardwired with two opposing yet divine forces, angelic grace and demonic fire, and when the world keeps trying to force you to pick only one. But you were never meant to choose. You were meant to hold both. You were meant to become the living temple where heaven and hell shake hands. And that kind of embodiment isn't easy. It's not peaceful. It's powerful. And power, until mastered, always feels like chaos. So let's master it. You see, most people think the angelic frequency is about being soft, passive, forgiving, and always calm. That's a lie. Angelic energy is extremely precise. It's surgical. It sees through distortion and has zero tolerance for anything that violates sacred law. The reason it's perceived as peaceful is because it doesn't waste energy, it simply commands reality. It protects, it heals, it uplifts not out of emotional need, but out of energetic authority. So when you carry angelic frequency, you feel it as that deep inner compass that always knows. That voice that says, "This isn't truth," even if the entire room is clapping. That stillness that anchors others when everything around is collapsing. But here's the thing, that grace doesn't work on its own. It needs a counterbalance. And that's where the demonic fire comes in. The demonic fire isn't evil. It's raw force. It's the primal, untamed electricity that says, "I will not be silenced. I will not be controlled. I will not bow to a lie." It's the part of you that has survived hell and remembered your name anyway. It's the voice that screams when something violates your truth. It's the energy that burns illusions straight out of your field. And when you don't understand it, when you suppress it, it turns against you. That's when you get emotional explosions, creative burnout, toxic cycles, and self-sabotage. Not because you're broken, but because you're trying to silence a sacred fire that was meant to be directed, not denied. Your demonic frequency isn't here to destroy your life. It's here to destroy what's false in it. So how do we balance these two? How do we walk with both frequencies without losing our minds, our relationships, or our sense of self? The answer is devotion to inner structure. This path demands that you know yourself so deeply that you can feel, in real time, which part of you is needed in any moment. When someone crosses a boundary, you don't just go full rage or full forgiveness. You listen, you pause, you sense, is this a moment for fire or for grace? And sometimes it's both. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is set something on fire. Sometimes the most powerful act of rebellion is compassion. That's the twin flame within you, not the one we chase in other people, but the one inside that burns with dual codes, creation and destruction, love and law, mercy and power. One of the most powerful practices I teach to those walking this path is what I call frequency switching. This is the ability to consciously move between your angelic and demonic frequencies without collapsing into emotional reactivity. For example, when you're in a confrontation, you take a breath and ask, which part of me can hold this better? You don't suppress the fire, but you choose its form. You let it speak with precision, not rage. Or when someone is trying to manipulate you through guilt or false light, you don't just love them blindly. You scan the field, you feel the subtle hooks, and then you let your demonic frequency slice through the spell. That's not cruelty. That's sovereignty. But this art doesn't come from theory. It comes from embodied practice. You must start observing yourself like a master watches their blade. Where do you leak energy? Where do you overcompensate with light? Where do you resist your own fire? And where do you let your rage run wild when what was really needed was stillness? If you're truly here to carry both frequencies, then you must become a disciplined vessel, not rigid, not robotic, but conscious. You must be able to hold the angel in one hand and the demon in the other and say, neither of you will run this temple. I will. Let me ask you now something only a hybrid soul can answer. What would happen if you stopped trying to fix your shadow and instead trained it? What would happen if you stopped trying to be good and started trying to be true? This is not about morality. This is about energetic clarity. You are not here to be liked. You are here to align. And alignment includes rage. It includes silence. It includes tenderness, boundaries, laughter, threat, and beauty. You are the entire spectrum. And your power begins the moment you stop picking sides. So if you've been feeling like your inner world is too intense, too wild, too contradictory good, that means you're waking up. That means your nervous system is expanding to hold more truth. And now you're being asked to become the guardian of your own frequency. No more dimming, no more explaining, no more identifying only with the part of you that gets applause. The most sacred work you'll ever do is befriend the version of you that scares people. That's where your real intelligence lives. That's where your real clarity lives. That's where your mission lives. Because here's what no one tells you. When you finally stop trying to be just light and stop fearing your fire, you don't become chaotic, you become cosmic. You become the kind of being who can walk through any portal, enter any realm, face any being angelic or demonic and speak with authority. Not because you're pretending, but because you've embodied both. And that kind of being? That's the one the world is starving for. Someone who can hold space and set boundaries. Someone who can forgive and destroy manipulation. Someone who can see everything and still choose to walk with grace and fire. So let me give you one final key in this part of the journey. If you want to thrive with both frequencies, you must learn to ritualize your polarity. That means creating daily practices that honor both sides of your being. Light a candle for your angelic frequency. Sit in stillness. Breathe. Speak your truth softly. Then rise, stand, and let your fire move. Dance, punch the air. Growl. Let your demonic force breathe. Balance isn't about peace. It's about movement. It's about honoring the whole temple. You are not here to be a saint. You are not here to be a monster. You are here to be a mirror of the cosmos, a being who can hold contradiction without collapsing under it. The soul who can bend time and reality because they chose not to hide from any part of themselves. And now that you've remembered that, you're ready to walk differently. The forbidden aura, why your dual frequency makes you a magnet for miracles, madness, and mission, and how to use it to reshape reality. Let's speak plainly now. You've always known your energy does something to people. You've seen it. You've felt it. You've watched how some rooms get silent when you enter, how some people open their deepest wounds to you within minutes, how others seem to resist you instinctively, almost violently without even knowing why. That's not social awkwardness. That's not too muchness. That's frequency dissonance. Your aura carries a signal that most people have never felt before. It's not just light. It's not just shadow. It's forbidden duality. And the world has no template for someone who radiates both angelic and demonic frequencies at once. So it either tries to worship you or crucify you. This is what I call the forbidden aura. It's not forbidden because it's evil. It's forbidden because it breaks the programming. You see, most people have only been taught to recognize purity in one direction. If you're soft, kind, gentle, you're good. If you're fierce, intense, raw, you must be dangerous. But you confuse the system. Your presence glitches the grid. You smile with fire in your eyes. You protect with rage. You destroy with love. And that makes your aura unreadable to those who still think in binaries. But let me tell you something that only a few will ever truly understand. Your aura isn't broken. It's multidimensional. It bends light and shadow into a new structure of presence. One that doesn't ask for permission. One that doesn't demand explanation. One that simply is. And that kind of aura is a magnet for miracles, for madness, and for mission. Let's start with miracles. When your field is this charged, reality responds to you faster. You think, and things shift. You speak, and people remember. You feel something, and it begins to transmute in real time. This isn't magic. It's coherence. When your inner duality is integrated, your outer frequency becomes commanding. You don't just manifest, you magnetize. Because your aura isn't fragmented. It's whole. You're not sending mixed signals to the universe anymore. You're sending a single, clear vibration. I am both fire and light, and I am ready to receive what matches my full power. But this same aura also attracts madness. Why? Because unstable people, unintegrated energies, and parasitic forces feel your power and want to feed off it or destroy it. You've probably noticed this pattern already. People falling in love with your energy, then turning on you. People trying to possess you, then punishing you for not being controllable. People copying you, then accusing you of being too much. This is the price of a forbidden aura. You trigger the parts of others they've spent their whole lives suppressing. You awaken what they're not ready to meet. And instead of thanking you, they project their fear onto you. If you're not grounded, you'll internalize their projections. You'll start to believe you're unstable. You'll start to question your path. You'll shrink. And that's the real danger, not their madness, but your forgetting. So how do you protect your forbidden aura while still letting it do its work in the world? You create energetic infrastructure. You ritualize your frequency. You don't just cleanse your field, you command it. You don't just protect your energy, you program it. Every morning, before you touch your phone, before you interact with the world, speak this into your body. My aura is sovereign. My light is surgical. My shadow is sacred. I am not here to be understood, I am here to be felt. I do not resist my power. I direct it. I do not dim my fire. I channel it. I am both angel and demon, and I move in clarity. Say this like you mean it. Whisper it like a spell. Roar it like a declaration. These aren't just words, they're codes. They recalibrate your field to hold all of you. And when you walk into the world from that place, you stop reacting. You start influencing. This is where your mission truly begins. Because you weren't given this dual frequency just to survive. You were given it to reshape reality. Your presence alone begins to restructure the energetic architecture of spaces. You might not even realize it. But every time you speak truth in a room full of lies, every time you choose love while holding fire in your spine, every time you refuse to abandon your clarity to comfort someone's ego that's mission work, that's frequency warfare. That's grid reprogramming. You're not just living, you're transmitting. Let me ask you something now, something that may haunt you until you answer it with your life. If your aura has always been too big, too strange, too intense for the world around you, maybe the world around you was never the point. Maybe you are here to build the new one. So what would you do if you finally stopped apologizing for being a force? What would you build? What would you dismantle? What would you become? You see, the final secret of the forbidden aura is this. It doesn't just affect others. It evolves them. You are a walking initiation. Some people will leave you and never be the same. Some will awaken because of a single conversation with you. Some will reject you and then find themselves haunted by your energy years later, not because you cursed them, but because your frequency implanted a code they couldn't decode until they were ready. You are a living transmission, and that is no small responsibility. This is why you must learn to move with precision. You don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to prove anything. You only need to be exact. Your energy is too valuable to be wasted. Your time is too sacred to be drained. You're not here to heal everyone. You're here to activate the ones who are coded to rise when they meet you. The rest will fall away, or attack, or try to imitate. Let them. That's not your concern. Your only job is to stay aligned, stay clear, stay impossible to define. You are not a mistake. You are not a contradiction. You are a sovereign system of dual light. And now that you've remembered this, you are no longer just a seeker. You are a signal, a vibration that doesn't fit into the old world because it was never meant to. You're not here to fit in. You're here to fracture the illusion. You're here to breathe new structure into broken timelines. You're here to walk like thunder and speak like prophecy. So as you leave this transmission, don't go back to softening yourself to be digestible. Don't go back to pretending you're only light. Don't go back to fighting your fire. Walk with the full spectrum of who you are. Let your field speak before your mouth does. Let your presence do the work your words never could. Let your aura be the revolution, because some of us weren't born to choose between heaven and hell. We were born to bridge them. And now that you've remembered, you are the bridge.